Hi guys, welcome back to Cinematic Mike Review. Today I'm reviewing Batman: The Long Halloween Part Two. The Long Halloween Part Two. I just finished watching it a few minutes ago, and I have to say that I actually think it's a great film. I think it's good. I watched Part One first, and then I put Part Two so I could watch it as a whole. And I did feel like it was different. The second one, I felt like it was a bit different. It had a different vibe from the first one, and that's kind of what I wanted. I said in my other review, I wanted to be kind of different or either the same. But it was exciting because didn't get the feeling because the first one was kind of slow. I think it was good, but it wasn't bad. But it just kind of goes slow, and it felt really like that one felt more like a noir film. And this one kind of feels like a crime mystery film right here already, like a crime and all that. And so kind of for me, it kind of went in a little different vibe, but it was good. It blows up right here. This is the one that blows up. I mean, the first one's kind of subtle, and right here, this is where it all kind of blows up, and you get a lot in this film. I didn't even think that I was gonna get what I got by the end, but I'm like, man, I'm a fan of these type of films, and I enjoyed it. And yeah, let me start with the beginning. We open up in the beginning, Poison Ivy. I don't remember it being in the comic. I'm not sure if because it kind of condenses some time, and I'm not sure if her part lasted that long or all the way to where they got to. But it was fine. I mean, they still had to put it because that's in the book where Poison Ivy gets Bruce Wayne and all that. So that was cool. I mean, there's this the scene with Jonathan Crane. That scene, I finally found. I looked at it. I'm like, oh, this must have been why. I mean, I know everyone was saying it must be because of Two Face. I mean, but the scene of the Scarecrow scene. I mean, I'm thinking maybe this is why they also added. This was a contribution to the whole rated R thing. And I like that scene, and for me, that scene is actually really hard to watch. I actually feel bad for Bruce Wayne, for Batman in that scene. I mean, it's really heartbreaking to see that. I mean, we always see the whole story of Batman and the murder of his parents in every film about Batman. But right here, I actually like the way they did it, and it really made me feel for him. I felt bad for him, you know. One of the characters I was looking forward to was actually Sophia Falcone from the book because I remembered when the trailers came out, I was trying to see if I remembered anything from the novel, and she was the one that stood out. I'm like, oh, I remember her, and I remember I liked her character in the film, and so I watched it. I after I saw part one, I found out about this voice actress named Lila Persons, and I found out that she was doing the voice for her, and so I think she's an upcoming voice. She's already done a lot, but yeah, she does the voice, and I think she did a great job at it as the voice. Um, but yeah, there's something in the film that kind of makes like a twist to it, which kind of shocked me. But I don't remember if it's in the novel. As I said before, I wasn't gonna read the novel um, because I wanted to get excited. I wanted to see the movie as fresh. You know, I wanted to see it as a film. So, but there was a twist with Sophia, and I don't remember if that was in the novel or not. But it was a twist, and I'm like, oh, cool. I mean, but then it was a shock too that you see that Harvey Dent turning into Two Face. I also don't remember if in the novel Harvey ends up because in this movie, it's gonna be a spoiler for anyone, maybe a little bit. I'm not sure, but just a warning, just in case anyone's watching and doesn't want to get spoiled. But yeah, I don't remember in the book if he's hearing voices in his head. I remember he does change after the accident that happens, but I don't remember if he was triggered by voices in his head. So I'm not sure if that was for the film, but it actually seemed interesting when you hear it. It's kind of scary. And so I think it went well with the movie. I also enjoyed how they ended up showing the introduction to Harvey Dent's coin and how it goes back to like the mob kind of. So it was cool and it connects with Bruce Wayne. So that was an interesting thing to see. Finishing the film when it was over, and even when it was getting close to the end, I felt bad for like the mob. You know, I felt bad because it basically was their downfall. I mean, and I felt bad for Carmine. And, you know, I don't know about Maroni. I did feel bad in one scene of Maroni, which if you guys watched it, you know what scene it is, and I felt bad, but that kind of goes to how these guys. It's just it's a good. I think it's a good storytelling, as I said in the first. I'm not sure if I said it in the first review for part one, but I said it either when I posted it on my Instagram or Facebook. I said it somewhere, I said it's interesting this story because I mean, people are taking out the mob. I mean, the mob actually takes out people, but this time someone's taking out the mob, and not even the mob knows how to handle this situation. It's something that's scary for everybody, you know. It's something that's scaring the mob, and you know they're not the ones that are supposed to be scared, but it's scaring them, you know, and they need protection. And so I thought something about that whole thing really gets me interested in this type of storytelling. So I felt bad, and I like that. I mean, it's their downfall and all, and how they end up going to these monsters, these Batman's rogues, you know, for help because it got so serious. You know, they end up making mistakes, kind of. I think there's like an homage to a classic film that I'm a fan of. I think there's like a homage, since this is kind of basically about the mob and all that. And I don't remember if this plays out in the book as well, but it seems like it was something that they added. But there's a scene with Sophia Falcone and Carmine Falcone. It looks like they're taken away from Brian De Palma's Scarface. And I really loved I right away when I saw the image of how it looked, the scene that we were at, the shot. I'm like, why does this is starting to feel like it's gonna be Scarface? And then it plays out, and I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, this is awesome that they added this, because I mean the book is goes back to the Godfather. It's actually playing like the Godfather, kind of, you know. And now they're adding like another kind of gangster film to it, so they add this. So me being a fan of Scarface, I really enjoy. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. I have some other ones, but I really like that scene, that is basically a Scarface, an homage to Scarface. And yeah, what else? Let's see. I I didn't like that they didn't add Riddler. I wish he was in this film, but I'm not sure if that has to do with the continuation of the whole. But I heard that this is supposed to be different, or I'm not 100% sure, this whole universe. But with Hush, so I'm not sure what it has to do with that, because I think Riddler was actually in the book, and I know he's in one of Jeff Loeb's himself because he's in When in Rome with Catwoman, but he wasn't in this film. And then I forgot that Penguin was supposed to be in this film. I think David Dastmalchian does his voice too, and he only has a few lines. And I kind of wanted to see him a bit more, but you only see him for like a few minutes, and it was nice to see him. I'm glad that he was there, but I really wish they could have done a little bit more. But who knows? Maybe they did it because of timing. You know, you can't do the whole thing. You got to condense it all, and who knows? Maybe we would get a part three. But yeah, but part one and two are good. Um, I like Naya Rivera's voice as Catwoman. It's nice to see the scenes with her and Batman, and right here you kind of find something out about her. So that was nice to see. Has one of my favorite shots is with her and Batman standing on the roof, and then something blows up right behind them. That's one of my favorite shots of the film. Josh Duhamel does great as the voice of Two Face. He seems like he changes his voice onto Two Face, and he does seem scary. And it's also sad that he kind of turns into who he becomes from like the beginning when he was trying to like take down the mob working with Gordon. And that's what you get from the book too, is that he starts off right there with but I felt like something was kind of a bit off for me with Harvey Dent here turning into Two Face, or just Harvey Dent. I'm not sure if it felt like rushed too much, or something was a bit off for me with it. But it was okay. It wasn't bad. But something that I just can't explain. Something that was kind of off with the way they did it. And then plus I have to read the graphic novel again to compare. But they did do a change. And I'm okay with it. The change that they did, I actually found out about that because I did another mistake. I ended up reading like theories, and then one of these theories was actually what happens, and right away I'm like, oh, this is gonna be that theory of this. So yeah, but I think it went well with it. It's a little change, but it still goes with the story. And as I said, I as a film, I wanted to see this as a movie, you know, as a Batman animated film, and I wanted it to be different because if you read the novel and it goes page by page exactly the same, I mean, I wouldn't mind that either. But then you can't be surprised because you know what happens. And so I'm glad I didn't read it. I haven't read it. I'm planning on reading it to see the differences that they did. And yeah, I think it was an awesome movie. I liked it because it was really action packed. I didn't even think it's gonna be like, yeah, like I said, it blows up in this one. This one really blows up, and so I really like it. And me being one of those film fanatics of like this crime, gangster, action, mob, and all that, I enjoyed it. But yeah, there's some kind of sadness to it that with the mob going down, all the deaths that happen. I mean, it's something serious, it's something that's scary. It's just this thing that's going around, and it's just sad. It kind of sucks now because I have nothing to be excited for. I was Batman: The Long Halloween was something I was excited, and then I got part one, then I got left for like getting ready for part two, and then it always happens, something it has to end. So now I'll see what else I'll look forward to. I mean, there are other things that I'm looking forward to, but I had this excitement because I was like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of the graphic novel, and it's gonna be a movie form now and all that. So yeah, who knows? Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, I found out like a few weeks ago, are actually gonna continue their on the Long Halloween. I think there's gonna be in October it comes out. So there's like a little continuation to that story. So we'll see how that turns out. I'm gonna get a copy of it and read it and see how it goes. As I did with part one, I saw it a few times. I think I saw it 3 times because I liked it so much, and I put it on this time. This would be my fourth time putting it together. So I kind of regretted watching it because I feel like I already knew everything, and I'm like, oh, I should have just not watched it like 3 times. But I liked it so much that I put it on. And finishing this one, part two, I'm like, damn, I think I'm gonna put this one on a few times again, too, because there's has some scenes that I like, and the story's good. Hey, yeah, that's my review on Batman: The Long Halloween Part Two. I enjoyed it. I hope whoever else watched it enjoyed it. If you didn't, I'm sorry, but if you haven't watched it either, you're into animated films, or you're into Batman films, or you just want to see something good, I do recommend The Long Halloween Part One and Part Two, and watch it as a whole. So that's awesome. That's my review on Batman: The Long Halloween Part Two. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.